Hey gang, Ron at Dog Days Pet Services here with our first of our Ask Me Anything questions. I chose this question out of the questions that were asked, particularly because of the time of the year that we are in and the oppressive heat during the day. And a lot of dogs having some problems with that without being able to get some exercise and good mental stimulation. So our first question comes from the County Compass page, a local business directory page, and we really appreciate the question. It's how can we keep our dog occupied and keep them from going nuts, give them some exercise, some mental stimulation, and some things that are good inside when they can't be outside in 90 to 100 degree weather for more than a couple minutes at a time. It's a great question. And I've got 5 or 6 different things for you to be able to do inside to keep the dog occupied, give them some exercise, give them some mental stimulation, and then a couple more that you can do outside sparingly as well that'll help the dog out. So without further ado, so the first item on our list is the classic original Kong. Now I know what you're gonna say, my dog doesn't like the Kong. I know, no dog really likes the Kong. We have to design the Kong so that it is desirable for the dog. And we do that by stuffing and freezing the Kong. There's some great websites out there with different recipes for stuffing the Kong, and it's basically kibble. Most of the time, what I use is the dog's kibble, some water, so there's some hydration in there, not a lot. Mix in a binder like pumpkin puree, and then whatever vegetables and fruits your dog can eat and enjoys eating, we can put them in there as prizes. So while the dog is licking, there's mental stimulation, there's hydration, prizes are falling out, it's interesting for the dog. And as opposed to a smear of peanut butter inside the Kong that'll last the dog 5 minutes, the stuffed and frozen Kong will last the dog for hours and keep them occupied for hours and keep them thinking. Next up on my list is a snuffle mat. Honestly, feeding food from a bowl on the floor is just lying there dead. It's basically roadkill. Make it fun. Snuffle mat you can pick up for 10, 15 bucks or so. Put half the dog's food in there or break the dog's food up during the day at different times and have the dog eat the food out of the snuffle mat. You work the food down to the bottom of the snuffle mat, and the dog gets to use their nose, which is highly rewardable, in order to find the food that they are going to eat. You do this several times during the day. You can give the dog their entire meal schedule for the day over 4 or 5 times during the day in the snuffle mat. You're going to keep the dog interested. The dog's going to be using their brain. They're going to be using their nose, which releases endorphins, which keeps the dog calmer and relaxes the dog. And also, all that work of getting the food is a mission accomplished for the dog, that they got it all and they're pleased with themselves after they're done. So I'd be feeding, especially this time of year, pretty much all of my meals broken up throughout the day in one sort of fluffle mat or another. Give the dog that brain work, give the dog that mental stimulation, and make it fun to have a meal. Keep in mind, if you have more than one dog, separate them because they don't fight over the snuffle mat if one of them takes a little longer than the other. Another fun indoor game you can play with a dog that's good for exercise and for mental stimulation and for relationship building is a fun game of hide and seek. Whether you take treats and somebody else holds the dog and you go hide in the house someplace and then call the dog and make the dog find you, and then unload all those treats on the dog as a reward for finding you, or even using the plastic Easter eggs that we use on Easter for the kids for Easter egg hunts. If you've got those lying around or you can find them, toss a couple treats in each one of them and put them around different parts of the house, and you can put the dog on a lead and go around and find those eggs. Let the dog use his nose to find them, use a paw or whatever to bust that open, and then go ahead and you remove the plastic and let the dog enjoy the treats and then move on to the next one. There's a lot of different things you can do as far as that's concerned. And it's fun. You're working with the dog together, trying to find something, scavenging, doing dog-like activities, and it'll build your relationship like a lot of other things just won't do. Different tugs, tug ropes, pouches, even stuffed animals or different types of things that you can play tug with your dog are a great way for physical activity, some mental stimulation. You're acting out the last 2 final stages of the hunt with the bite and the eviscerate. Main thing is you want to make sure that the dog is safe and you're safe while playing tug of war, because dopamine and excitement levels can get really, really high So it's a good way to work on leave it and drop it, and working on the dog's excitement levels at the same time, and shutting down the game when the dog gets to a point where they're not going to be able to do it safe anymore. But it's still a great training, great physical, great mental stimulation, another wonderful exercise you can do inside. And the last one I've got, and probably my favorite, an extension of playing tug, is training. Work on some training with the dog. It doesn't matter what it is. Training is the two of you spending time together, bonding, learning how to communicate together, and just sharing that extra time. And training is vital. I mean, we need to train all the time. Training's like algebra. If you don't use it for 20 years or whatever, what the heck is algebra and why are there letters in my math? And training's the same. If you don't use it, you lose it. So it doesn't matter if it's a trick or if it's actual training stuff or whatever. Spend 15 minutes here, 10 minutes there throughout the day, and have a great time with your dog and build your relationship and really have a good time. And just to finish off, you can do a lot of outside activities too. I bought a reinforced vinyl with wooden panels pool for the dogs, and some of them really love it. $25 on Amazon. We can go out for a little while. They can jump in the pool, cool off, be silly, and come back in. Sprinklers, running around in sprinklers, and it's something that's not going to overheat the dog and things of that nature, and they can still stay cool and have a good time, and you can have fun with it. So they splash pads, another way. Lots of fun for some dogs. Really enjoy splash pads. All stuff you can pick up pretty cheap, and it'll keep the dog cool while you're outside for a little while. So I hope this helps, and have fun with your dogs and keep cool, and but keep them active mentally and physically, and emotionally with you. While you have all that extra time while it's ungodly hot outside. So I hope this helps.